Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Within Range Coaching Podcast. I'm Ranger, certified holistic success coach, and in this podcast, I am breaking down the journey that entrepreneurs face as they start their organizations, find solutions to the problems in their way, and create an impact that lasts. So if you're an entrepreneur, nonprofit leader, or purpose-driven community member that wants to learn how to grow your impact and develop yourself as the person behind the mission, then this podcast is for you. I know you're just as eager to get started as I am, so let's jump right in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. Today, we get to focus on something that affects each and every one of us every single day. Whether it's first thing in the morning, halfway through your day, or in the evening right before bed. That's right. Today, we're talking about eating. More specifically, our guests will be talking about the importance of nutrition. Today, I'm joined by an amazing woman that is making waves in the fitness industry. She is the co-owner and so many other things of Rooted Movement, LLC, whose mission is to make Modesto better through movement. I am joined by my friend, walk supporter, and entrepreneur, Marisol Fernandez. Mari, thank you for joining us today and sharing your magic with our listeners.
Hi, Ranger. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited.
Good. I'm excited to have you here. Could you do us all a favor and just give us a quick rundown of who you are and what it is that you do exactly?
My name is Marisol Fernandez, and I am one of the founders of Rooted Movement. I am a strength coach, a certified nutrition coach, a yoga instructor, a wife, and a mom. And I am really seeking to make a difference in this world through nutrition. I feel that it's the foundation of everybody's life, their emotions, and really the solution to a lot of their problems.
Yeah, a lot of different titles going on there. And I'm sure that's something that a lot of us can relate to and feel. So what would you say is your intention for today's episode?
Today, I really want to help people have a different perspective of nutrition. A lot of the information that we have or that we've grown up with is very outdated, and there's a lot of new research out there that's coming out that really simplifies a lot of the misconceptions and the overwhelming information. So I would like, anytime I speak, my hope is to just clarify the information for somebody out there, because everybody, the information for them is unique.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I feel like a lot of information about a lot of things are outdated. So it sounds like a lot of what you want to do today is simplify and clarify what's going on, what's really happening in the nutrition industry, and how people can best apply that to their life and situation.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, before we jump straight into that, could you give us a little bit of a rundown of your history? How did you get into the yoga, the strength, the nutrition, the everything? What's your story?
Well, I kind of fell into this industry by accident. My actual bachelor's degree is in criminal justice and in sociology. So I studied people. So it somewhat correlates into what I do as far as a coach. And I decided 3 months before graduation that it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a parole officer at that time. And well, there was a lot of changes in the criminal justice area during that time. So I kind of veered away. And a few years later, I ran into somebody who recognized my ability to connect with people. And she was like, "You would be a great coach." And she's like, "I would love to teach you about fitness." And I was like, "I have no idea about fitness. I get on the treadmill and the elliptical, and that's all I know." And she's like, "Well, I will teach you." And I was like, "As long as you teach me, and I just want you to know that I am a student that is a sponge. I will go to your house. I will pick your brain." And that's kind of what I've done. I have spent the past 15 years learning about nutrition and about fitness, and I have been connecting with different organizations all over the world to really learn about nutrition. What I've learned is the more you connect with people, you kind of start learning certain things that everybody needs, and you kind of start developing your own nutritional path. And so I really enjoy the more holistic and wellness part of nutrition and fitness. So I fell into this industry by accident, and one day decided I wanted to open up my own gym. I had a variety of clientele that was willing to support me. And that was in 2010. And here we are, almost 14 years later. My gym and my coaching business is going strong. And yeah, I have a passion for helping people and not just giving them something because they're paying me, but really holding on to my core values. And I feel that that's what's really allowed me to be successful.
Yeah, and just kind of keeping with that segue of core values, it sounds like connection is something that you hold very near and dear to yourself on a personal and professional level. So what is it about that aspect of connecting with people that really draws you in?
Well, I feel that society in the last, I don't know, 30, maybe 40 years has really been more about career orientated, what you're developing in your life, and people have kind of lost the importance of themselves and being authentic and having the tools to move through life. And I feel that I can a lot of people's problems that they're going to doctors for medications and all this stress really comes down to maybe having an understanding of how the body works and how you fuel it so that you can have more control over these things that maybe you feel you're unhappy with, such as your body image or your energy level, and you have the ability to control it, right? So a lot of the struggles I feel that we have in life have to do with how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah, it's really like you were saying earlier, it's that foundation. It's something that we do every single day. It's those micro choices that we make on the daily basis that can really affect us in that long term.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know that you mentioned earlier that there are some misconceptions, or before we jump into that, actually, you mentioned earlier that you started in the criminal justice field and that you moved into, running your own business and making the full, it sounds like a 180, completely different track. What was that experience like for you?
Well, see, you would see it as a complete 180. But I really don't see the difference other than I'm doing something different. But I still went into criminal justice because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people that felt lost. I wanted to help people that felt maybe they had no more hope and really just give them some glimpse of light in different parts of their life. And since I didn't do it through criminal justice, doing it through fitness is pretty much the same thing. Most people feel that, oh, if I only weighed this amount, or if I only fit into this size pants, I would feel happy. I would have more energy, or I would be able to have this career and feel better about myself. And really, it doesn't come down to that. You have to understand that maybe it's the other things in our life that we need to change. It's not the food. People label food as bad, and there is no such thing as bad food, because at the end of the day, food gives us calories and we need calories to live. If I found a child on the side of the road and they were starving to death and I gave them a Snickers bar, which we have labeled as bad, it's going to give them calories. So I want to help people have more control over their body so they can have more control over their everyday life.
Yeah, I wish I would have asked you that then, instead of kind of assuming there that it sounds like, especially like what I was saying with the moving from criminal justice to the nutrition field, it sounds like there are a lot of parallels to be drawn, kind of giving people choices, giving them opportunities, showing them how to make better decisions for themselves.
Yes.
That's really interesting. And with what you're saying about that's something I run a lot into with my coaching practice, is people make those statements. If I had X, I would be happy. I would be satisfied. I would be better, good, whatever that positive word is. But that's just what you can really see, that easy to see external facet of their life.
Yes.
So when it comes to you having that holistic approach, how would you explore that with someone that you're working with?
Well, how I would explore it with someone I'm working with is, first I sit back and I listen. That's number one thing, is I listen to what their wants are. And then I ask them questions about their life. So I hear what their wants are, and then I need to paint a bigger picture for myself as to what is their support system like? What is their daily activity like? What is their schedule like? What is their cooking ability like? What is their nutritional knowledge like? And then from there, I create a starting point. And that's kind of what we do in every part of my business, whether it's yoga or fitness. It's knowing what your goal is and then creating a roadmap with specific markers to measure our progress to get you to your goal.
Yeah, kind of. All right, where are we right now? Where are we really right now? Where do you want to go? Where do you really want to go? Great. Now that where we are currently is clear, where we're going is clear. Now we can make those milestones and really flesh out that roadmap to get there.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, yeah, that's really interesting because I feel like, again, with what you were saying earlier, a lot of people focus on one aspect. If I weighed this much, and it's easy to say it's, I don't know, the most common New Year's resolution probably. But with those plans, I'm sure it's very different for every single person. How does that kind of play in with, how do you keep all those different personalities, those different goals, aspects? What does that even look like to you?
I guess for me, it's all creating steps in an image. I've never had anybody ask me to explain it that way, but I do have certain themes. Obviously, I have certain steps. Like I said, I listen to a person. I'm trying to figure out these aspects of their life. And then from there, I find what might be the easiest thing to start off with. Any changes we make, especially when it comes to health and fitness, we just need to make very small changes. A lot of times we tend to flip our lives upside down. We do all of this stuff. We take all of the nutritional information, we apply it, and we get overwhelmed. And a lot of times it can be as simple as, so I guess what I do is I listen to what their cravings are. I listen to what their emotions are, their sleep. So there's certain aspects I need to have checked off before I can move on as far as in their nutrition. So number one, if a person isn't sleeping, I don't care how much exercise they have. I don't care how many macros or detailed their macros are in their weighing. They're not going to get to their progress as fast if they're not sleeping. So my first job as a coach would be to get them to sleep. Then after that, it would be the most fundamental parts of what the human body needs. Protein, we're basically a pile of protein. And then water. So those are kind of my two go-to steps, right? So I meet somebody, I listen to them, I figure out their goal, I find out which one of those things are they not checking off first. And then we work on that. And then we work on the next step from there. So for everybody, it's different. I have people that have been in the fitness industry for a long time, and they want a nutritional program based off of achieving an athletic goal. So I have a certification for weightlifting, or somebody like yourself. I'm walking across America. Okay, well, great. Your goals are different. Your needs are different. If somebody is, I am diabetic. I'm borderline diabetic. My doctor wants me to not be on medication. What should I do? Okay, well, my main goal is let's get more protein and fiber in your diet. Let's make sure that I teach you how to keep that insulin level down. So for everybody, it's different. Again, listening to their goal, figuring out what their lifestyle is, and finding that one thing that I might be able to change faster. Because if a person feels successful in something and they see those changes, they're more willing to keep going, and they're more willing to see that next challenge as attainable.
Gotcha. So it sounds like there's that baseline of sleep, protein, water. We'll get to that in a second. And then taking from those three baselines are met, being able to make that individualized plan based off of your actual goals, where you want to go, if you're doing something crazy like I am, or maintaining a certain lifestyle, there's a diagnosis like on the horizon or currently at your door. Okay, so it sounds like you can really help folks in all these different areas regardless of what their situation is.
Exactly, because the human body functions all the same. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, if you're underweight or overweight, if you are been in the fitness industry and are very strong, or you have never exercised. The human body needs specific things, and they all functions the same. There may be some variables. A lot of us have cellular abnormalities that we walk around with that we can live and function and never even know about. But it can come out in the form of, hey, you're allergic to broccoli, or hey, gluten is giving you eczema. So there's certain things, there's certain signs that I look for in the body to be able to, again, tailor that nutrition a little bit more for each individual. But basically, the human body all functions the same. The food should have two requirements to be labeled as actual food, and that is fuel and growth. If it's not fueling you and it's not helping you grow, it's really not food. So and if it's not giving your body that, then I try and implement foods that are giving you those two things. So a little bit at a time, and everybody is different.
It sounds like a lot of it is the same for people, but different building blocks, different. The way I'm kind of really envisioning it with what you're saying is like a painter at its easel with what is it called? The picture in front of
canvas?
them. The canvas. There we go.
Yes.
It sounds like, I want a tree. Great. We can draw the tree super basic. We can put a few lines up, make it look kind of cool.
Yes.
And it's really filling in those gaps. Like, okay, let's put some flowers at the base. Let's put a bird nest in the tree. Let's put a little hole for the squirrels. And now let's focus on the background. It's really giving that full picture of the life you want and what you want to create.
Yes, it's giving that full picture. And then my job is to remind you of other things like, well, what temperature are you trying to grow this tree in? Are you in a desert? Are you in a snow area? That's going to all depend. And so I'm helping guide a person. I guide them into their wants, but I put into perspective things in their life that may become obstacles. Because like we can't change, not everybody can just say, you know what, my job is stressful, I'm going to get rid of it. Let's get a new job. It's not that easy for some people, so it's taking little steps. It's saying, okay, your job is stressful. We can't do anything about it. If you are not able to get home and cook dinner every night, I'm not going to make you meal prep. I'm going to set you up for failure if I do that. So let me find a way that I'm going to set you up for success. So yes, every tree has roots, every tree has trunks, every tree has limbs and leaves. The types of leaves is different. The environment it needs is different. The amount of water it needs is different. The amount of soil it needs, it's different. So yes, there's certain things that every human body needs, but I create a different picture based off of the likes and needs and wants of each individual.
And I think that's something that is so important for people to really hear. A lot of people can paint that picture by themselves, and it'll turn out to be a pretty damn good picture by taking information online, by talking to people, but you're really able to go, okay, what about this? What about this area over here that you kind of missed? This area looks great. What about this? What about, like you're saying, the weather? What about the environment that you're in? And with that, I know that there's a lot of information online. I mean, you scroll through nutrition on TikTok or Instagram and you're inundated with advice. And if you're not doing this, you suck and I hate you. Or if you're not doing this, or if you are doing this, and it feels very overwhelming. It feels very attacky. It's like people fall into those traps, whatever industry, whatever part of their life, and it really prevents them from even getting started.
Yeah.
And it sounds like your role is to say, it's okay. There's a lot, but let's focus on you. That's what they're saying. What are you saying? What is your body saying?
Yes, exactly. I teach them how to listen to their body, evaluate the foods that they enjoy. So another thing that I do is I ask people, well, what type of restaurants do you like to go to? And I usually start with, don't just pick healthy ones, because as soon as I start asking questions, people are like, I gotta go. I gotta let her know I know what healthy is. But, so for example, if somebody says, well, I really like Mexican restaurants, I like bistros, and I like plant-based. Okay, well, they like Mexican flavors, they're okay with vegetables, and they like healthy, fresh foods. So then I create them a meal plan based off of those flavors. So there's a lot more other than just calories, proteins. It's also incorporating those flavors because I feel that that's what really deters people from sticking to a regimen. There's so many diets out there and every single one works. Which one is more sustainable and more similar to your everyday lifestyle? Because if it's similar to your everyday lifestyle, you're more willing to stick to it.
Yes, that sustainability factor is so important, especially for people like kind of what this podcast is geared towards, like nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, the token busy professionals, all these things that people try to incorporate in their life. They try to jump kind of off that deep end right away. And what I've kind of seen is that they panic and they jump right back out of the pool and go back to what they were doing before. And I think that's so interesting that you kind of focus on what is it that you like. And it's not saying that you're really incorporating, if they say Mexican restaurant, you're not saying, great, a bunch of Mexican food, a bunch of this kind of cuisine, but you're really diving in like the flavor, the aspects of it, and incorporating that throughout. I think that's really interesting that you're able to pull it apart like that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, well, over the years, I have learned that it's the reward that people receive from food that keeps them going back, and it's that flavor in your mouth that keeps people wanting more. So if I can teach them how to keep those flavors, satisfies those cravings, they're more willing to stick to it. Because if they eliminate foods that they like, when they're either presented in front of it, they're going to binge eat, or they're going to eat in secret and feel bad about themselves. So I like them to know that anything that they liked, the flavors that they liked are not bad. It's just being able to make more mindful choices. Again, just changing it one level up.
Yeah. And it sounds like that mindset shift there is there's no such thing as good or bad food. It sounds like it's just more so there's food that works towards your goals and others that detract from it. So it's just picking what works best for you, again, as an individual, as a person who needs to eat, which is all of us.
All of us. Yeah. I tell people again, back to that concept that real food gives you two things. If it doesn't give you either one of those, it's not real food. If it doesn't fuel you or help your body grow, it's not real food. And we need to be intaking that type of food to be healthy. Now, there's a difference between healthy and intaking the right amount. And the right amount is usually that term people use, calories in, calories out. Not every calorie is the same. It's not used the same by the body. There's empty food calories, and that is food with no nutritional value. So at the end of every body needs a certain amount of calories to sustain the level of energy. So for you, when I built your meal plan, I really thought about, okay, he's going to be walking every single day. I need to make sure that I am fueling his body enough to sustain that level of activity. Our goal is not weight loss. It's not weight gain. At this point, it's maintenance and health and making sure that you have the energy and the ability to recover properly. Because if you go walking and after day 3, you're sore and you can't seem to catch up and release that soreness, then it's going to be harder to stick to that. So my job is to make sure you have a right amount of calories, that your body has the ability to recover, and making sure that the food I recommended provides you with the right amount of nutrients. So it's not just about calories. It's also about where are those calories coming from? Are they providing your body with essential nutrients so that it can function properly? Because if a person I've heard of this 1-a-day cookie diet. If I have them eat a chocolate chip cookie every day, yeah, they're going to lose weight, but they're going to also lose their hair. Their skin's going to get really dry. Their nails are going to get brittle, and, things are going to get really ugly. So again, food with nutritional value.
Gotcha. And this might be a silly question. How can you tell if something you're putting in your mouth, something you're putting in your body is food? How do you know when it checks that fuel and growth box?
How close is it to its natural form?
Is
How
that
many steps has it taken away from its natural form? So, for example, if I make chicken, well, that's chicken, that's its natural form. I make a potato, that's its natural form. I make a sweet potato, that's its natural form. I make oatmeal, that's its natural form. If I now go make oatmeal bread, I've changed it a little bit, right? And then, or here, let me use this example, tortillas, spinach tortillas. People always want to go to foods because they say have a vegetable in them somehow. So tortillas, spinach is not a spinach tortilla. It is done multiple steps to get to that tortilla. The more multiple steps it gets away, it's really not going to be as nutritionally valued.
Gotcha? So kind of the more steps there are in the process to go from the
Its
basic
natural
grocery
form.
store. Yeah. Okay.
It starts losing its nutritional value. You start losing the live nutrients in there and the vitamins and phytochemicals that your body needs. Those are actual live things that create chemical reactions in your body. They allow your body to understand what the next step is.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's really just like the baseline of, and correct me if this is completely off base, but like what humans were meant to eat. Like we
Yes.
weren't meant to eat Chef Boyardee out of the can at 2 a.m. We were meant to eat like on apples, meats, like these
Yes,
very like
correct.
what would you call that? Whole foods,
Whole
raw.
foods, yes. Whole foods, whole raw foods, foods from the earth that either grew from the ground, the vine, or from an animal. Because they provide you with calories. They provide you with your carbs, your fats, your proteins, your essential nutrients. It provides you with everything that your body needs. The further away you go from something natural, you eliminate the nutrients, the vitamins, the phytochemicals. And towards the end, all you're left with is calories.
Yeah.
So a calorie is fuel, but if the fuel doesn't have nutrients in there, it kind of slows down the roaring fire. Does that make sense? So you can think of low nutrient food as wood that is not going to give us this big bonfire. We need this big bonfire to create energy and just create heat and make all these systems in our body work. So if we're fueling ourselves with food that is lacking nutrients, but we're hitting our calories, you're going to have a very low fire. You're not going to be burning or roaring and being, fierce. So if you're fueling your body with high nutrient food and just the right amount of calories, you're going to have a bigger roaring fire. Everything's going to work better. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy.
Yeah, it sounds like, and I'm glad that it also sounds like you're really into metaphors, because I tell you, I am. And it sounds like you can have all these pieces of wood, all these logs, and they could all look the same. But the empty calorie logs probably have a lot of holes in them. There's a lot of room for stuff to be put there. And those logs that have the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the protein, the whatever, it's very densely packed in that wood that's going to give you, like you're saying, that fire that's going to sustain, that's going to fuel you, that's going to help
Yes.
you grow.
Yes, absolutely. I get people that say, well, eating healthy is expensive, but it really isn't, because say my body, say Marisol needs 1,800 calories a day, and I'm fueling myself 1,800 calories, but I'm eating Lay's potato chips, Doritos, I'm eating deli meat, I'm adding in cereal, sodas, those type of things. I can stay within that amount of calories, and my body will probably lose weight if that's my goal, or maintain whatever that is. But my hair will start falling out. My energy level will be low. My menstrual cycle will be affected. My sleep will be affected. My nails will get very thin and brittle. I will just start feeling unenergetic. My people that don't move with their hands and talk. And I also look at people when I'm sitting there, if they just look like there's no life in their body, I know that their body is not fueled. Their body's preserving their physical movement just to preserve so little energy they have left. So I make sure that I'm introducing foods, and I teach people we are capable of eating sodas. We are capable of intaking poison like alcohol. Alcohol is a poison, no matter how you wrap your mind around it. People ask, well, what's the better one? Well, what's the better poison? I don't know. Let me tell you which one's a better poison. So, but our bodies are an amazing, amazing machine because it's capable of intaking that and healing itself, but it's not capable of intaking constantly every single day, every single meal without the help of nutrients, vitamins, and phytochemicals. So not every calorie is the same, right? So yes, every calorie is going to give you energy, but which one's going to help you grow?
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of what you're saying is that cliche that you are what you eat. If you sustain
Really
yourself on, I don't know, 15, like we were saying with the logs earlier, 20 logs a day, but those logs are decaying. There's a lot of holes, a lot of gaps and cracks. That's what you're going to be. And that's kind of sound like it culminates into that low energy. You don't really move a lot when you talk. Like you can tell. Versus if you're eating that very densely packed, nutrient-rich food, it'll show. It'll show in your energy levels. It'll be so apparent. Yeah. So, and I know that's something that I feel like a lot of people that are entrepreneurs or nonprofit leaders, they spend so much time kind of filling up the cup of others that their cup kind of gets, I don't know, never filled, thrown to the side, spilled, given to someone else.
Yes.
So with those people in mind, you kind of already said a few things, but I'm curious, what would be your first, if they were going to make a change today, what would be the most impactful changes that you would recommend or suggest or encourage?
Actually, the most successful people are kind of the hardest. Unless you have the ability to pay a chef, a trainer, you got a gym right next door to your bedroom, someone took all the stress away from you. That's going to be great. You can do it. But most people that have major careers, entrepreneurs, they're busy, right? They're constantly in meetings, meeting new people, networking, doing all these things. They put themselves last until their health becomes an issue. And it's always like, I just don't have time. So it takes more than me at that point. I always tell people I feel that the body needs exercise, the body needs nutrition to fuel, and the mind needs therapy, counseling. It's like personal training. It really is. We look at it as like, oh, that's when we have a problem. No, I feel that that's what helps keep problems away. So when things get really hard, because it does, there gets a certain point where they know what to eat. People know what to eat. They know how to track their food. They know how to cook, but they're so busy that they're not willing to make time for themselves. They don't know how to say no. They don't know how to put boundaries. So that's a little bit outside of my scope, but I do work with a team of other counselors, and we work together.
Gotcha. So it sounds like for folks that are kind of in the entrepreneurship game, that are high achievers, that have a lot of moving pieces in their life.
Sometimes it can be hard.
It's going to be hard, but it sounds like a lot of that is just building a community of experts, of coaches, of a team to help make that happen.
Yes. And it really is. I tell people most of the time people are like, well, I know what I need to do. I know that I need to eat less. And again, it goes back to the knowledge. It goes back to the outdated knowledge that people have. They once did something that worked. Well, it didn't work if you're not sticking to it. If it didn't become part of your lifestyle, it didn't work. So people kind of, I feel like they look at how everyday life works, right? The harder I work at my job, the more success I will see. The more time I put into this project, the faster it'll get done. But you can't just cut calories and see results. You can't just rush your body to have these results. You have to make time. You have to put a system in there, and people sometimes don't know how to make room for that in their life. It's almost like they feel like if I just pay for it, it'll happen. But there is no hack to health. There is no hack to mental health. It's putting in the work. Um, again, at the end of the day, no matter what job, entrepreneur or not, stay at home mom, we all need the same things, but it's really evaluating your lifestyle and taking into consideration what you can and cannot change, or what you're not willing to change and what you are willing to change. An entrepreneur, if they're really, really busy because of their job, well, then they're not willing to change that. So the next suggestion I would have for them, well, then let's get you some meal prepping locations. What locations can you go to buy food? What restaurants and meals can I teach you to order and do takeouts? So there's different levels of how I can do this. Not everybody's meal plan that I create. I've done meal plans that are nothing but restaurants and drive-throughs, because they are either single, they are not going to cook at home. I have somebody who hasn't used their kitchen for 5 years. They just, it's just part of their house. They don't use it. And so I made them a meal plan, and I went through every restaurant and I helped them figure out. So I can help every person. It's just really, what are they willing to do?
Yeah. And there's a couple things that I'm hearing from you in terms of that entrepreneurship, high achiever, those types of people. Be willing to ask for help, make time and space and give energy towards yourself as a person, and work your nutrition around your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it starts at the beginning. It feels, I get people that tell me, well, it feels like all I do is think about food. Well, because we should. We're humans. And guess what? We survive off of food. But we have been taught that that's the last thing you think about. You got things to do. You got to-do lists. You got deadlines. Food is later. And then we don't, and then I meet people that now are too sick to enjoy retirement. And that's the saddest part. I'm really proud that our gym works with a large group of elderly clients. And I love working with them because it's actually harder for them, but they tend to put more work in because now they've reached a point in their life that they understand the value. And they wish they would have done it younger, but I love people that finally see the value, that it's not just a temporary fix. It's not just a get in the pants, fit into the dress, wear the bikini. It's making it your life, feeling energetic, because guess what? You feel more happy because you actually make your own food. You're in control over your own food. You feel strong because you actually are strong. You go to the gym and you actually do lift. That, and then that starts transferring into their everyday life. But sorry, I think I went on a little tangent there.
No, you're good. That's what we're here for, is to listen to your passion. I mean, it just watching you through the screen, even like your passion, your excitement, like it really bleeds through everything you do here. And another takeaway that I just had from what you're saying there, kind of going back to that cup mentality, right? A lot of people, I don't know, pour and pour and pour and pour until there's very little left. And then they hit an age where they realize, I don't have a lot left in here. And it sounds like it's still possible to fill it up. But it sounds like it's a lot more work. There's a lot more you need to do, rather than getting to the top and just sustaining that. Pour a little out, make sure you add to it a little bit more, and continuously adding as time goes on.
Yes, it's important to create that's maintaining habits. Like maintaining the habit of buying fresh fruit versus fruit roll-ups, by making the habit of, maybe I'm going to make sure I have healthy frozen dinners in the freezer for the days that I'm going to come home and I don't have energy to cook. So it's being prepared, understanding what habits we'll fall into, create new habits, so that we don't fall into those habits, or at least we have a backup plan.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier with sustainability, being able to maintain it long term. That's really interesting, being able to focus on, again, what works for you as
Yes,
opposed to what works for Becky and Sally and Bob and Timmy or whoever.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's nice to hear people's stories and it's nice to hear what they're doing because it may give you ideas. I find that doing group nutrition coaching sessions actually are the most impactful because another person will hear another individual talk about either their struggles or what they're doing and either feel that now they're not alone, that it's not just them feeling this or it's not just them having this issue, or they're like, man, that's a great idea. I never thought of cooking it that way or going to that place and ordering it that way. So it really starts opening up people's minds and perspectives because, again, nobody has really taught us to eat. You're not really taught to eat. You're taught a little bit of basic, like eat your vegetables, eat your fruit when you're little, but it's never pushed, and that really it should, because I mean nowadays there's a lot of young kids already feeling very uncomfortable with themselves, and there is a bigger percentage of young kids become overweight, obese. So I feel that teaching them young is very important, educating people, getting people to understand that a lot of the information is outdated. I think a lot of people, maybe every 5 years, should take a nutrition class. I feel that they should take a nutrition class every year because the more we talk about it, even myself, anytime I'm done with the nutrition session, I'm like, okay, my next meal needs to be good. I was already thinking about it. So the more we involve ourselves, so it's changing your lifestyle from being work, work, work to actually making it work around food.
Yeah, Mari, no, it definitely sounds like being able to start that nutritional education early on is so important because that's really the baseline. These are the things that we were taught when we were younger. Those are going to carry on throughout adolescence into the teenage years, adult, until we're elderly and kind of at the end of the line. And it sounds like that's a lot of information. I mean, we've covered a ton in this episode already, but I know you mentioned that you have an ebook. Could you talk a little bit about that and then how folks can work with you and find you on socials?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a majority, about 95% of all of my nutrition coaching online and over the phone. This helps people be more flexible with their schedule. Otherwise, there's a lot of I'm too busy. Again, a lot of entrepreneurs. So I have an online platform called stan.store /CoachMari, Mari. And on that platform, it has a lot of my coaching services. I have a consultation. I have if you're just looking to purchase your macros, I have 3 different meal plan tiers. I also offer an in-person meal prepping class. So again, walking you from how to calculate your macros down to how to physically plate it and cook it. And that is in person. So if you were to go to my stan.store /CoachMari platform, at the very bottom, I do offer a free ebook that goes over pretty similar the information that we've gone over, a little bit more in detail, like how to read a nutrition label, a little bit more about in-depth of carbs, proteins, and fats. So it's a great way to get some information, get a little bit more connected with me. But I really recommend people starting off with the consultation because, like I've discussed, it really takes me getting to know the individual, listening to what your goal is, and me getting a better picture of your lifestyle. Then I have a better idea of what I would recommend. And I always apply that fee, the consultation, to any package. But in the meantime, the ebook is free. All you have to do is leave your name and your email address, and it gets emailed to you right.
So it sounds like you really have something for everyone, whatever your budget, whatever your goal, your size, the size of your goal, whatever it is. It sounds like in this your Stan Store account, you have something for everyone, and all of your socials are going to be in the show notes for Rooted Movement and anything else that you want to give our listeners and the value you want to provide. So thank you.
I offer a lot of cooking videos and high protein recipes on my Instagram. So we're really good on keeping our Rooted Movement Instagram updated as far as all of our community classes. And I keep my Instagram Rooted with Mari updated with all kinds of nutritional information. So we try and give people one area to go to just for nutrition, and then one area to kind of figure out how to connect with a healthy community. We offer a variety of things. So it helps people connect. And we feel at Rooted Movement that everybody, no matter what your finances is, should have the ability to be healthy and to be connected with like-minded, supporting people. So we offer free community classes. I have one tomorrow at 9 a.m. There's no fee. There's no one going to try and sell you or talk to you about a membership. You just come in. We want to see your body move and see you feel happy and good about yourself and connect with people. Yeah, and everybody needs nutrition information. I've sat in some county nutrition programs that give people incorrect information. So it's really sad. People are going to people that are labeled as professionals that are not really giving them realistic information. So I want to be able to help people.
So a lot of it is tied up really in community, sustainability, and just up-to-date information.
Yes.
And it sounds like that's really what you provide. So thank you for everything that you've talked about today. Again, all of your information, your contact, your social media, the ebook, the stan.store, all that's going to be in the show notes for everybody to access. And during my walk, I'll be posting the different foods and items and I don't know, just basic food reviews almost.
Awesome.
The items you put in my meal plan, so people kind of get a firsthand look of the whole process of working with you as well. So
yeah, absolutely. And just remember that as you are feeling things through your walk, you associate it with food. So at any point that anything is changing for you, your mood, your energy, your ability to recover, that's when we take a look and reevaluate your nutrition.
Perfect. And I'll definitely keep you updated and be pretty honest and upfront about everything online too. So yeah, thank you for all of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ranger.
Of course. And thank you, Mari. Thank you everyone for investing your time with us today. If you'd like to continue on your journey of building an impact-driven life, check the show notes and the description for all the information about Mari, what she offers in her coaching programs, and how you can start implementing this into your diet and life today. See you guys all next week on the Within Range Coaching Podcast. This is Ranger, signing off. Remember to have fun, stay safe, and be yourself. Bye, everyone.